You're listening to the Movement is Medicine Show, a podcast hosted by Head to Toe Spine and Sports Therapy, a modern chiropractic and manual therapy practice in Edmonds, Washington. Now, let's get into the show. What's up, guys? Welcome.
Hey, Barry.
How's everybody doing?
Not bad.
Yeah,
Fantastic. Yeah, fantastic. So on today's show, we want to kind of dive into update on current affairs, really around the whole COVID thing as it continues to stick with us.
Right. Yeah.
It's not miraculously gone at this point.
Yeah, it's too bad, right?
I know, man. It really is too bad.
It's too bad.
I mean, it's too bad that it happened at all, but it's
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
So
then, it's just
It's worse that
yeah.
it's still here.
yeah, and getting worse.
Yeah,
getting
a lot of
worse,
areas
picking up speed.
Seems it's kind of picking up a little bit again, and it's really tough to see that. But as much as we're going to talk about today, really try to look on the bright side of things and help you guys kind of get prepped for whatever is going to come our way coming up in the next few months, 6 months, anything like that.
That's right, because we are kind of middle approaching the end of July. There's a lot of velocity with the pandemic right now and with the virus. All kinds of crazy news. There's some promising stuff with vaccines that are coming out of the Oxford group, but at this point, we still don't have anything. We don't have that magical combination either of drugs that really minimize the symptoms either. If a person's highly, if they get into that state where they're getting the cytokine storms and all that stuff when bad things happen. So really, what can we do? When it comes to keeping ourselves safe, we know wash hands, all that good stuff. But what can we do when it comes to our body and kind of bulletproofing ourselves to the best of our ability? That's what we want to talk about today.
Yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day, like washing your hands and wearing a mask is not gonna. That's not your foundation for health. Those are passive means. Those are not very active things for you to do to make sure you stay in a healthy state. So, even though those are good recommendations, those are definitely, they have potential to keep that virus from spreading, keep you healthy. There's bigger things that we can do with the lifestyle choices, realistically. The basis being movement and nutrition. So, like on the nutrition standpoint, there's just some really basic vitamins and minerals and stuff that we can intake most days of the week, and they're going to help support our immune system. So, just right off the top, the easiest ones that most people know are vitamin D and vitamin C. So, vitamin D being synthesized when you go out and spend a lot of time in the sun, you eat healthy fats, and you stay active. It's got more of like a hormonal type of response rather than a vitamin response, which is fairly new science. That's really interesting, actually, if you go look into it, but I'm not going to bore everybody about that today. And then you've got vitamin C, which you can find in pretty much most fruits, all citrus fruits. I really talked about in the past a camu powder, which is a very high density vitamin C fruit that you can get from like South America. You can get a powder on Amazon from Supreme Nutrition for about $25 for like a month's supply. I love that stuff. It's like 1,000% of your vitamin C in one dose. So that stuff's massive for me. And another thing that we can do to really help support our gut and our immune system is make sure we're eating healthy fats. So in our guts especially, we know that we digest a lot of fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K in our gut and our intestines especially. So if we're supporting our body with those healthy fats, whether that's fish oils or avocados, or a combination of a bunch of other things like flaxseed, chia seeds, hemp hearts, all that kind of good stuff. That's also going to help support our immune system, give us a lot of calories, give us the fat that our cells need to hold water within the cell, which, as we've talked about in the past, if we can hold that hydration in the cell, it's going to help aid recovery and help us stay healthy in general. So from a nutrition standpoint, that's just a quick synopsis on some stuff that we can start intaking today.
Yeah, and I think with the nutrition, one of the things to keep in mind is the source matters, right? Like, so high quality ingredients, it's really quality in, quality out. And some of these things aren't things you want to get at Costco. And by meaning, so you don't want the cheapest possible fish oil you can find. Right. That is going to be so much lower quality than the highest quality you can find. I mean, it's not a little bit of difference, it's a dramatic difference. So these are things that when you're looking at, okay, what are the basis of my nutritional supplements? Even if you're eating decently, even if you're eating mostly real food, it pays to have some of these core fundamentals in place, because your chances are you're not getting enough of them from your food sources.
Well, absolutely. We've touched on it in the past as well, just talking about going to like a local farm, getting maybe some literally farm-to-table vegetables and fruits and or meats, and possibly going to the fish market down the street instead of going to the main food store, like getting a local source of fish, something that's probably from like Alaska, literally has been driven down specifically for us. I mean, I go to Kuzma's around the corner all the time. It's like my favorite fish
I was going to say, we have a cool like little local fishmonger that
Yeah.
has good quality
The
stuff.
market too. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I was there yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah, he has great stuff there. Yeah, and I love, you brought up fish oil. I've been taking cod liver oil, and there's a company that I love called On Target Living, and they produce, in partnership with somebody else, but it's a flash frozen, right? So it's like they catch the fish. It's Alaskan caught, wild caught, cod, line caught. It's flash frozen within 20 minutes of being caught on the boat, and it's processed in Dutch Bay up there in Alaska. So it's processed very within hours of being flash frozen in the state-of-the-art facility. And that fish oil is insanely smooth and good. And they put a little organic lemon in there, and it tastes. It's just so smooth.
Yeah.
No other addition like it. And you can feel it in your brain and your body when you're on that versus not being on it.
Yeah, and with the lemon, it's probably going to taste a lot more enjoyable.
It does.
Yeah,
Because people hear fish oil and cod liver oil, and it just sounds disgusting. Because it's like mashed up, extracted liver of
Right.
the
Yeah.
fish, right?
Right.
Cannot possibly taste good.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can go for a pill form, too. I mean, it's
can.
not to say that you can't. I mean, I do think that a lot of the liquid, like I use a liquid form as well, and I do think that obviously when things are in liquid form, a little bit more absorbable that way for your body, it quickly absorbs, so I think that's
100%.
great. But if you really have a big aversion to any like the fish oil, there are other great pill forms that you can take, too. But like you were saying before, don't just hop right into Costco and like pick up theirs or just like a generic brand. You can do a little bit of research. There's actually a website that you can use for free. It's one that I've used before too. It's called labdoor.com. And they have rankings of a bunch of different supplements on there from I think vitamin D, fish oil, zinc. Zinc's another mineral that's really great to be taking in right now just to boost that immune system even more. Just a great daily vitamin you can take. But yeah, if you guys do want to check that out, that's labdoor.com. There's some rankings on there about purity and everything like that. So if you're really unsure, it's kind of like a simple place to start. It's not super extensive, but it does at least give you some information.
Right.
The other
Just
thing
to touch on that cod liver oil, the benefit of giving a liver oil rather than just a straight up fish oil is that there's already going to be that vitamin A and D in that cod liver.
very high levels,
Extreme levels
Yeah.
of vitamin A. Like almost if you're drinking double doses of that, you could potentially get sick. So
Yeah, totally. So you're just going to want to hit the daily on that, which is like a tablespoon.
Absolutely.
And that ultra high quality stuff has those pre-resolving mediators too. I don't know. Have you heard of those before?
Yeah.
Familiar with those? Yeah. So I mean, which is again an enhancement, kind of fuels and helps with the kind of the cellular processing.
it's like a digestive enzyme.
Yeah, it's a digestive enzyme, so it's super, super great. Another one along those lines that I've been really into lately is a spirulina chlorella tabs.
There you go.
absolutely.
Enhanced
Money.
with chlorella
Absolutely.
growth
Look at that.
factor is the one I've been taking. Yeah, totally.
All
Those are the
right.
juice.
Great for your gap junctions in your gut. So if you do have leaky gut, that's what I took to fix mine was chlorella supplement.
It's super powerful stuff.
It's amazing.
The other one that I've had in the past, and I'm not currently taking it, but it's really great, is flash frozen, unpasteurized wheatgrass. Comes from Canada.
Okay, yeah.
So there's only one manufacturer who makes this, like in the world, the flash frozen unpasteurized, which is essential. So it's because it's pretty manual, intensive process, but it's all hand harvested or whatever out of Canada. They flash freeze it as they process it, and it comes in this sheet of like ice cubes, frozen wheatgrass ice cubes, basically.
Okay.
You pop a couple of the cubes out, you cut them out, drop them in a glass, hit it with some water, and it's incredible. I mean, the vitality in those things. It is.
Wow.
It's like
Interesting.
That's one
it is such a high.
that's-
I'm going to send you guys the link to it because the level of quality versus like a dried green powder, like an Athletic Greens or something. It's like 10x.
Yeah.
The comparison. There's no comparison. I'm going to send you the link. You got to try it. It's
Absolutely.
really
Yeah,
good.
that's
With
pretty
being
cool.
just unpasteurized, it's not going to be heated up. Nothing's going to be denatured at that point. It's
Yeah.
just going to be massively better.
Yeah, they had to
Pure.
develop a whole technology to be able to do it and offer it safely or whatever so that they, at the same time, they didn't want to compromise the nutrient profile. And the guy's story is cool how he got into it. His wife had cancer or something back in the day, and like they got on this wheatgrass thing and all this, and like it tremendously helped with her progress and treatment. And he became like this huge wheatgrass believer and started this farm up in Canada. And now he's
Nice.
like, yeah, it's a cool story. But the wheatgrass cubes themselves are insanely good. They're really good. And
Get
I'm
your
not like a
spot
big
on.
green guy.
Yeah. That's pretty sweet.
I'm gonna send
Can you
the
get
link.
them here?
You can get them. Yeah, they come to your house frozen. You just you get them shipped to you basically direct.
Sure.
And they come in like a big frozen thing, like with like dry ice or whatever. And yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha. That's
and then you
pretty
put them in the freezer, and then you can, then you just clip out a couple cubes, 2 or 3 cubes.
Yeah, is that something you're doing every day?
Nice.
That's something you do every day.
Every day,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally. I was super into it. Then my buddy came over and accidentally unplugged my garage fridge and like destroyed like $400 worth of my wheatgrass. And then I like took a little break. But I'm ready to order.
That's
I'm
tough. That's a tough one.
It'll like
That's a rough
leak
go.
all into the fridge. Like,
Oh,
no.
so I realized like a week after, and then at that point it started to like ferment in my
man.
fridge.
Oh, no.
It was
Oh,
it was
man.
horrific. Yeah, he felt bad.
That would matter.
He didn't write me a check though
We'll see.
for the wheatgrass.
How
I
did
mean,
you
I
go
didn't
about
ask him to.
unplugging
but yeah.
your refrigerator?
In his defense, I get it. The garage is a little, like sometimes garages are a little convoluted and complicated, and there's multiple power strips and extension cords. And he just didn't realize that was the fridge.
That's nice that you get the
Man.
benefit of it out there.
Yeah, it was pretty
there you
sad.
go.
Pretty sad. So, anyways,
That's sad.
those are some good. Any other nutritional kind of like nuggets we'd throw in the mix?
I mean, other than the zinc, I mean, that's a massive one.
Yeah.
It's very antiviral. Overall, just going to increase your immunities. I mean, I know Dr. Tim and I, we take Tri-Zinc every day from Biogenesis.
Biogenesis, yeah, great supplement.
Awesome supplement.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, along those lines, too, one other great thing that I'd throw in here for a kind of biohack tip, and that is IV nutrient therapy. I love IV nutrient therapy. Have you guys gotten an IV drip before?
No.
Oh man, it's so great. You should get over to Sage and get it done.
Okay.
Man, you feel
They
the
do
difference on
those
that.
over
Yeah,
there.
it's great. It takes about 45 minutes. You just
Yeah.
chill. They hook you up to a bag. You can kind of customize too. What you have different
Yeah.
mixes or whatever.
Absolutely.
But their kind of immune support energy boost mix is great. You can also get a glutathione push at the same time, which I highly recommend. Glutathione being kind of
Glutathione.
Antioxidant.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Major, like one kind of the master antioxidant, or sometimes they call it
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
mother
Yep.
antioxidant. If we wanted to use it,
That's awesome.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
a good combo. IV nutrient drip, glutathione push. Get that done every other week, and that because it's just direct, right? It bypasses the digestion, and it's just so if you have malabsorption issues or leaky gut, or you have some compromised immune,
Sure.
that's a great way to get those nutrients directly into the cell.
Yeah, and we've
Great.
had plenty of patients come in that have said the same exact thing. They get their own custom bag over there. They do it every once in a while, like once a month or something like that, and they swear by
I
it.
love it.
Totally.
I love it. Like, and if you know you have like a party weekend coming up, highly recommend it, like a Friday.
Just prepping.
Yeah, just prep.
Totally.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, your friends are going to be hurting, but you're just
Yeah.
going to
Just
feel
gonna be
good. You can
feeling
wake up,
so
you're so
good.
hydrated, so
Wedding
much
season
energy.
comes up next year. That
Yep.
might be a thing.
Yeah, there you go.
No, it really does help.
Yeah, awesome.
It's a little pro tip right there. All right, the second thing we mentioned when it comes to what we can be doing to really support our immune system and the foundation of our health, we mentioned movement. So let's talk about because not all movements created equal, but what should we be looking at when it comes to movement as it's related to our health?
Right. I mean, like, it's pretty common knowledge that the number one predisposing thing for a negative health consequence in the hospital is the patient's lack of movement, whether that's after a surgery or due to being, like, medically induced, they can't actually get up and walk around. So the number one thing you can do to, I guess, prevent a respiratory infection would be to move and to move well. Because if you're moving well, that mucus is going to be moving around. It's not going to proliferate. There's not going to be a whole bunch of fluid accumulating in your lungs, leading to you having like pneumonia of some sort, which is actually what kills people that have COVID. COVID itself is more so an opportunistic infection that allows other things to get in and wreak havoc, like bacterial pneumonia. And that's what we see most people dying from that are contracting COVID. It's just all together that's working to bring about their demise. So moving well and getting cardiovascular exercise is going to be one of the best things that we can do to make sure that our lungs are healthy and our heart is healthy, which are heart and lung disease are two major factors that can lead to people contracting COVID in and of itself. So if we can try to curb that stuff, it's going to be huge in preventing getting the disease itself.
Yeah, no, I think that's hit it right on the head there. And I think, I think for a lot of people out there, it's like, it's gotten kind of tough through quarantine. I think a lot of people, I know myself too, when all the gyms were locked down and everything like that. And I know still a lot of gyms are locked down. It was tough to want to get up and move a lot, right? It's like you kind of lose that motivation a little bit when you don't have somewhere to go. And for everybody out there, it doesn't have to be something massive right out the gate, right? Like Lee was saying, just getting a little bit in per day, whether or not start with a walk, right? Just go out and walk outside. If anything, if it's sunny outside, you're getting more vitamin D that way anyway. So you're just helping yourself out twofold. But really, it doesn't have to be anything excessive right out the gate. Like you can get out, go for a walk, and then maybe if you feel good enough, go for a little bit of a jog. Maybe just get some exercises in at home. There's a lot of great home programs you can do that way. A lot of great online things. There's different YouTube things as well. But really, just getting movement in, quality movement, like getting those lungs working, getting that heart working a little bit, getting the blood flow going again. I mean, that's especially when all of us have been sitting at home. I know a lot of people are working from home a lot more right now, and we're sitting a lot more than we probably have been in the past. So really getting up and getting that blood flowing, no matter what it is, get a little walk in, maybe a little resistance training at home if you have some dumbbells, some bands or something like that. Just simple stuff at the start. And as soon as you can kind of build that habit, like that's really what it is at the beginning, is building that habit, getting into the routine of that. It gets so much easier as you go on forward. So I know it can seem like a daunting thing at first, but try not to think of it as a daunting thing. Try to think of it, okay, take it one day at a time. Let's do a little bit of movement today, a little bit tomorrow, like keep going like that. And as soon as you do that, like, get a couple weeks, a month into it, you're just going to build that habit and you're going to be in a great spot.
I think just hitting on what Dr. Lee was saying earlier about moving well, I think while some people have a good idea of what that is, others of you might not even know what moving well even means. And I think in the most simplest terms, moving well and moving properly involves moving, for the most part, without pain. And so, if you're finding it difficult for you to get up and get out of the house every day, nutrition is going to play a huge part of that. Keeping your immune system healthy, keeping your body and muscles healthy, tendons, structures, everything like that. Then obviously making sure you're getting yourself checked out. I mean, we're kind of phasing back in, real life is kind of starting to uptick a little bit. We're definitely open. I know a lot of doctors' offices are totally open as well. And so if you think you're dealing with some kind of musculoskeletal issue that doesn't involve a visit to your primary care physician, I think right now is the best time to come get checked out. As long as you're keeping yourself healthy, there's no reason for you not being able to go outside, not being able to do exercise outside, whether that's, like Dr. Sim said, taking a walk, going on a run, doing some body weight movement outside. So something to just think about, just in general, moving well means moving without pain, generally speaking.
And if you've been in before, sometimes it's easy to know what you should be doing. And it's just a matter of doing some of the activities that maybe you've been given from us or from others before in the past, right? It's like,
right.
Oh, my knee's hurting really bad now because I've been running more, walking more, and I know I should be stretching my hip and getting in there with a foam roller and a lacrosse ball,
Right.
but I haven't done any of that. Okay, so sometimes it's like you know what to do, but then there's other times where you don't really know what to do, or you feel like there's multiple things going on, and that's really too where it's great to come in and get those things resolved so that they don't stop you from getting the benefits of those movements. Because I do think when it comes to it, you can find ways to make it more enjoyable, more entertaining. You can gamify things. You can go like step count. Daily step count's a great way to get going. There's things like cool online races, quote unquote, these days. Like I'm doing one right now where over the next, basically over a 3-month period, I have to accumulate 100 miles in running, right? And so it's really fun. It's all online. And then it's like the Peaks Pass is the one I'm doing. It's whatever, the Cascade Run. And Mary, my wife, is doing the Washington State Run or something, and it's 277 miles that she has to come up with it over, which is quite a bit. So she's running 20 miles a week right now, and I'm running 7.5. Nice. She's totally kicking my butt, super bad. But listen, I'm stronger than listen. I can put up the big weight, so whatever. She can run faster. Everybody has their strengths. Yeah, but those are fun ways to do it, right? And the other couple things I'd throw out there is. Getting a nice piece of home gear, it's a great time to invest. And I know it can be hard sometimes even to find home gear right now. But if you're diligent and you pay keep your eyes out there, and even if you put your order in and it's comes in a month or two, I would be thinking long term now. I would be thinking well, what if my big box gym doesn't really open back up ever again or in the next 6 months?
Yeah.
Maybe put that order in at Walmart, even if you have to go to Walmart, which I unfortunately did to get dumbbells but go check out your local place like PR Lifting. Give them a call every other week.
Totally.
Get a Peloton. I mean, Peloton is a great time to get a Peloton. We just ordered. I'm so pumped. We just ordered the tread. Comes in. Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Nice.
Now it's listen. Is it a ridiculous purchase? Yes, it is because it is. It's ridiculous. It's like a $4,000 treadmill. All right.
Yeah.
That's now. Does it have a sick 32-inch touchscreen and a dope ass JBL powered soundbar? It does.
Oh, yeah.
Is it sexy? AF? It is. It is. It's definitely sexy.
Get
I
what
mean,
you
you
pay
feel
for.
like just
Oh,
better
man,
about yourself
just
when
like,
you have
woo.
that. Like, who can't get on that thing?
Yeah, and those trainers kick your butt.
Those trainers are incredible. I love them so much. So if you can't get into your local gym or gym, like, I mean, we love Industrious. They have a very incredible, like, they have incredible online experience too for like body weight stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like again, so if you need like, I need somewhere to go, I don't have a resource, man, that Industrious on demand, I've been hitting that a few times a week. I love it. Those workouts are so great. They have body weight options. They have options if you have a little bit of gear, like a KB or a dumbbell or something, and they're so good.
Yeah.
So those are some really easy options. But now is a good time to invest in some gear and some equipment. If you have to spend $100 to get a pair of 20-pound dumbbells, and it seems ridiculous because 6 months ago you could have got them for $30, so what? You know what? Bite the bullet. Because
sometimes it's worth the investment
it
right now.
totally
Totally.
is.
I mean, that's kind of the thing, like you were touching on earlier. We don't know exactly what to expect going forward, right?
Yep.
So it's like if you're like, it seems like Dr. Ashley was saying, it seems like things are trending forward, but then we're getting more cases. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. We know for a fact that schools will likely not be in session like coming up in like the fall and like the winter right now, right? We know that. I think there's been some announcements made on that. So, I mean, I think it really is just planning for the unexpected, especially when it comes to movement. Like, yeah, if you're thinking about picking up some equipment, a lot of the things that Barry just said, like great things to look into, but I would recommend looking into that now. And like, I wouldn't expect it to be like, oh, it seems like gyms are going to open back up soon. But then, like, we don't know. Like, we don't know with, like, the fall coming up exactly what's going to happen. So it's really nice to have some of that home equipment available to you so you can do that.
I had to tell you, too, and you bring up a great point with the school closure thing. I mean, so we've got to be thinking about ourselves, right? It's like we got to take care of ourselves. We got to be healthy and stay healthy. But if you have a family, if you have kids at home, as a parent, I can tell you, I kind of like gave up on structure for the kids. Like basically, like as this thing like dragged on, I like was like, whatever. They're teenagers. My kids are teenagers, so I was like, I can't manage them in my own life at this point, right? But now I'm realizing, because you're kind of banking as a parent, like, listen, school's going to come back, and that's going to bring structure back, and it's going to do my job for me, which it has been doing for a long time. Thank you so much, teachers in the school system. But then you realize, like, oh no, it's not coming back. So now it's like you got to be thinking for your kids too and your family, what kind of structural things can you put in place to help them get movement?
Yeah.
To help them get
Exactly.
movement, whether that's a family workout a couple times a week, whether it's a bike ride with your kids. Me and my son Dash just went on a long bike ride the other day. It was so fun.
Yeah.
And it's like I hadn't been thinking really of like what I need to be doing to get them moving, but it's time now because school's not. You can't depend on other people for structure, so you have to start now creating some.
And the weather's not going to be
Absolutely.
this nice forever. So you
Totally.
got to get creative in your home.
Yeah, absolutely. What can you do to get the kids moving too?
Yeah.
That's where I think sometimes having like a fun workout that you can do, like a Industrious on demand, is great because you don't have to think about it.
Right. Yeah.
Because if you know how to program workouts, it still kind of gets old, like always thinking about and coming up with a new program. It's way easier just to like go do what somebody says to do.
And I think for some of you parents out there, I think, I've experienced this with some of my friends and their kids and like some of the parents that come in here with their kids and everything like that, with just little work. Kids like activity. They like working out, especially if you're doing it with them like that, like involving them in that. It's a family activity you can do together. But not only does that give them structure, you can make it fun. They like to move around. They like to be doing what their parents are doing. Like, oh, I want to do that. Like, my dad's doing that. Like, I want to do that. Like, kids really enjoy that. I've seen that in, like, families that I know. So, I mean, like, don't think that it's going to be like somewhere it's like, oh, we're going to get down and do this workout. Like, no, make it fun. Make it lighthearted. And I think, obviously the Industrious Online is a great way to do that. But yeah, I mean, kids really do enjoy that.
And you can gamify it with the kids too. I mean, one of the simplest ways to gamify any kind of thing is grabbing a blank calendar, printing off a couple blank calendars for the month, and giving an X on a day that they hit an activity or you hit your activity. And when you get a certain number of X's, you get a reward, right? So this is simple Pavlovian, like ring the bell, here's the dinner food, ring the bell, the dinner food. Like I get 5 X's, I get a $25 gift card for like Xbox or whatever the thing is that they like or that you like, it's like you accumulate 20 X's and then you're going to buy yourself a new Lulu hoodie or whatever the thing is that you really want.
Yeah.
But it's a good way to justify like purchases that that you want to make anyways, but you're getting a deeper benefit along the way. So gamify, man, make it fun and reward yourself and your kids for your efforts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a great way to do it. It makes it fun for everybody. And that gets
Simple.
them involved with it. Simple things you can do like that. And I'm sure there's a bunch of great ideas online for that too if you're running out of ideas of how to do that. So
Pinterest.
Pinterest.
There's probably like 1,000 great ideas on Pinterest in pretty infographic form.
There we go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well,
Perfect.
I hope this is helpful. I mean, at the end of the day, we have to play the long game now. I mean, it's like we've been in this thing, and coping mechanisms and ideas that we had about how it was going to play out. It's time to shift, and it's time to really double down on our health and our wellness and empower ourselves and our families and the people that we love with simple yet profound ways of maintaining that immune strength and maintaining that health and that strength, so that if in case you do get exposed, which as more people get sick and as we see velocity on this thing pick up, you want to be able to successfully fight off the virus. That is the key thing. Yes, prevention, yes, wash hands, yes, masks, all that. But at the same time, we need to address that root core cause of your immune health and strength.
And really the best prevention, the best readiness is really the stuff that we talked about today. Proper nutrition, proper supplementation, getting out there, getting good movement in. And then just last thing to touch on real quick, sleep, and then just make sure you're getting adequate sleep as well.
Not to open a can of worms here either, but mental health is also going to be huge too.
Yeah.
Flip the script, stay positive.
Yeah.
Negativity is not going to help you in any way. So
yeah. And then a little shameless plug at the end here. If you guys are noticing any pains or anything like that and you're just wondering where to start maybe on some of that stuff, we do have a lot of great videos on our Instagram and Facebook. So if you guys want to check that out, I definitely recommend it because there's some simple techniques that we go over. A lot of great videos up there if you guys are noticing some aches and pains in certain areas. So I definitely recommend checking that out.
Yep. And if you've got, like for the running, we have the clinics, the running clinic, low back clinic are great if you have some localized specific pain. But if you go through any of that, you go through some videos, you try some, and you need some help, you need that additional support, we're here from you.
Yep.
And we're here to make sure that you are moving pain-free and that you are living your best life. Even though there's all this stuff that's happening all around us we can't control, there's so much we can do to keep ourselves safe.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for being here, and we'll catch you on the next show. Until then, be well.
thanks,
Bye,
Bear.
guys.
Thanks, Barry.